In their last group game against the Netherlands, Uganda won the toss and elected to field. They were set a target of 188 to chase, which they are doing at the moment. But guess what? In 3 overs, they had already lost 3 wickets. In fact, in 2 balls of the first over, they had already lost 2 balls, and the chances of them bouncing back into that one to qualify for the semi-finals of the ICC T20 World Cup Global Qualifiers are very slim, if not done and dusted. Good afternoon, Clive Chaze is my name, and it is the sports dish. The cricket cranes, the chic cranes, and everything making headlines out there is what we shall be discussing for the next 1 hour. I'm not alone in studio, joined by Emanzi Ndiamhachi, and with him we shall be checking you until 2 p.m. Emanzi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Clive, and good afternoon to the viewers out there.
How have you been? Last night you went to watch basketball, you ended up making headlines.
How did I make headlines? It was a good game of basketball, the one I managed to catch. Unfortunately, I didn't watch the ladies' game, but I made it for the men's, and that's between Tropical Royals and KCCA, a very interesting game of basketball that KCCA eventually won by 2 points. But it could have gone either way, because it was a roller coaster of emotions, swings. One team leads, then the other ties, and it was that sort of game. So an interesting game of basketball. Maybe that's why I'm seeing my pictures in different groups.
Of course, the National Basketball League is something that we also have on our menu today, but we'll be starting off with the chic cranes because the national netball team is in camp in Nachirebe, and yesterday the head coach, Fred Mugerwa, did name the final 12 that will be traveling for the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. Let's listen to what Mugerwa, together with the vice captain, Joan Nampungu, had to say about the developments.
We entered the camp on Monday night, and this is our second day in the camp. Yesterday we had a training here, and today I've been here also in the indoor. And what the reason as what we went to the camp was to have these players together, and also to have a good training facility that we have now here in Nachirebe, which has almost a similar floor that like the one we are going to use. So I think the girls right now are getting used to that type of floor, and also playing indoors, because most of the training that we have been playing in the Kamocha was outdoors. So we are trying to get used to playing indoors and also on the good surface.
To different regions, playing netball and showing the young ones how important netball is in our lives. I know you have inspired many people, many youngsters, because tours, we have been doing tours in schools, which was a good thing to inspire children, to inspire students who also involved in talents in their schools. And also as we players and the chic cranes players, we have learned a lot in regional.
Well, Fred Mugerwa and the captain in there, he talks about their ability to get the facility that they wanted to train on, as we look at the 12 players that he chose. But you feel because they entered camp on Monday, they are planning to leave on the 20th. Today is the 14th. They have about 6 days. So they have. Would you want to say that they had ample time training on a facility that is probably similar or closer to what they will be competing on in Birmingham?
Of course not, and to be honest, they never have enough time before going into serious tournaments, so be it the Africa Cup or even the World Cup. I don't think you could suggest that they had a lot of time training with in such facilities, partly because of course we do not have enough of these facilities in the country, and those that are available mainly private businesses that these federations cannot easily access. You'd think that maybe the Lugogo Indoor Stadium would be somewhere that they camp, but I think if you have a facility like Nachirebe, which is a bit out of town and can give you access to a facility as well as enough time outside of Kampala, I think that is good enough for the team, mainly to create that chemistry that you need. And of course, I don't think much is going to change in terms of what they play on the field of play. But the most important thing with camp, I think, is for the team to gel properly, create that chemistry, get used to each other before you go into a big tournament. But I think if there's a team that has been able to go through challenges. It is the Sheikh Reigns, and I'm sure that this cannot be one of those that they look at and are really greatly affected because they've had challenges before and they've managed to overcome them and go on to perform well. So we can only wait and see how far they go in the Commonwealth Games. Setting the target of reaching the semis might look big, but if you've won the Africa Cup before, I think those are some of the things that you've got to look at achieving at some of these major games.
These are the final 12 that Fred Mugerwa, the coach, named. Of course, outside Peace Proscovia and Mary Numba, the other 10 were part of the team that won the Pen Series earlier this year and finished number 2 behind South Africa in that African Netball Championship in Namibia.
Yeah, well, the team does not change. I know, of course, there were players that were dropped much earlier that you would say have been mainstays on the Sheikh Reigns team before. One of them is Rachel Nanyonga. I think I've met her before.
Actually, even Desire Bua, she's now part of the reserves. She's in camp, but just part of the reserves.
Yeah, I've met Rachel Nanyonga, and she was really bitter about being dropped and does not agree with the team being dominated by KCC, and she thinks that.
But the team has 5 players from Nick. Yeah. Okay, initially before these were dropped.
Yeah, she thinks that she still had a part to play on the team and does not really agree with the idea of being dropped by the coach. But this is a team that has been summoned. No one will blame the coach if the team goes out there and actually gets good results. I think the questions will start coming if the players that have been selected do not put up a performance. But we have 2 professionals. That is not something that we could say 5 years ago. Now you look at the team that has Peace Proscovia and Mary Nuba as the professional players that you have. And of course the Stella Oilers are still in there.
Stella Oilers was the other under pressure. She thought at one point she could be dropped.
Yeah, but I think if you look at her performances over the time and you look at what she did in the East African Championship that we hosted here in Kampala.
Yeah. She's actually listed as a goal shooter because that's where she plays predominantly. But listening to the coach speak, he has plans of actually using her as a goal attacker at some stage, but also using her as a wing attacker. Because
they tried to change her positions even, I think even at the previous World Cup, trying to maybe get her opportunities to play abroad. But of course, when you talk about goal shooters and the best player and captain of the team is a goal shooter, then you obviously you think that she's not going to get enough time playing as a goal shooter. But I think Coach Mugerwa has emphasized the idea of having players who can play different positions, and they've been working on the various combinations in camp, and that's what we can wait and see to see when the team has Peace Proscovia and Mary Nuba in the same camp. How exactly are they going to be deployed? I think that's where most of the attention will be. But Stella Oila has showed that she can actually fit the bill if you can, if you give her the opportunity to play there. I think her conversion rate has not been that bad. And you know that in case of anything, because this is sports and anything can happen, you know that she can easily chip in.
Though at a stage like that, you're coming up against a competition in goalkeepers and goal defenders who are comfortably taller than you. So probably now that is what informed the decision of even trying to play as a wing attacker, because they want her on court because of her mobility and all that. The question is she able to adjust to that position, because she's through and through a goal shooter who once in a while plays as a goal attacker, but now giving her that extra responsibility of being a wing attacker might...
but those are things, of course, when you have Peace and Mary Nuba, I think predominantly those are going to be the options that you look at for your goal shooter. And if you were Stella Oila, I think you can only wait for the opportunity. And I think she's one of the most versatile players that you come across, that wherever you deploy her, you think she's going to do a good job. And I think the most important thing is to wait for the opportunity. It might not come at this championship if you have Peace Proscovia and Mary Nuba for you to play as a goal, as a goal shooter. I think one of the most versatile players, and you look at her and say, wherever you deploy her, you can expect her to perform.
Well, we'll continue to follow the She Cranes and, of course, all the other teams that are preparing for the Commonwealth Games. By the She Cranes are planning to leave on the 20th. That is the date they want to leave, so that they have ample time of training and acclimatizing, and probably also Peace Proscovia having a chance to train with the rest of her teammates. But that's a date that is yet to be confirmed, but that's the time they wanted to leave. But starting next week, at least different contingents of Team Uganda are going to start departing for the United Kingdom as the Commonwealth Games draw closer, because today is exactly 14 days to the opening ceremony, or to the day the games are supposed to